Welcome back, guys. In this video I'm just gonna talk about why you need to think like an old wise man. So actually the video ideas come into my mind when my grandpa passed away, sadly. But the truth is, I'm not as sad as a normal human when somebody passed away of his family, because when I stayed and spent time with my grandpa, I actually learned a lot of things from him, and I heard a lot of stories and all these different kind of life regrets and life choices what he chose when he was maybe older and maybe a little bit more young. And the old mans always talk about interesting life lessons, and I think that actually if I learn from this old man how to live life and what is his regrets, I can be wiser. They just listen what he said, and this idea kept in my mind that if I'm just aware and I think like a sponge, like in the early days, in my young years, I can become wise when I'm young. I always think about Iman Gadzhi. He is now 23, maybe, I don't know. But when he was 16, 17, 18, he already made more than 10,000 per month. 10,000 pound per month, or dollar, or whatever what you call. He made more than that at that age. And I think he not just by he was smart and he left school and all these things. He was wise. He was way wiser than the people around him. Actually, his mother, I think, as he said, his mother is a savage. So I think because his mother is Russian, and Russian people are typically rational and think logically, and you know, Russian people are Russian people. They are tough people. He learned so many life lessons in the early days, and I think it's crucial because it helped him to become more mature than the other guys around him. It's easy as that, because when you can learn from somebody's mistake, you can become way more mature and way more wiser. You just learn what in a minute what he learned even throughout his whole life, and just forget being young and silly and making all those mistakes, going out, getting drunk and all this shit. Become the cool guy who can drink like fucking fish. It's silly, isn't it? Like, who the fuck is actually can be proud of that? I never ever saw somebody. It was two main mistakes he made in his life. I talk about my grandpa, and he always said to me, don't be rushy. And what he mean by that? He said that when I was a child, I rushed everywhere. I never ever had time to actually, not to chill, but to relax. I always rushed. And I think that's a very fucking important life lesson that you can learn. Because the consequences of his rush was a heart attack. He get a heart attack, 32 or 42, I don't remember. But he gets a heart attack because of the constant working and rushing. And I learned from that, you need to work. Working is a weapon. If you can work, and if you learn how to work at a young age, when you become an adult, it's gonna be way easier. He said that if you are a child, you learn how to work, it's gonna be a significantly better feeling than when you become adult and you was lazy when you were young, and you become adult and you need to work, and you just a lazy cunt, and you didn't have the ability to work. You didn't have the discipline, all these things. It's gonna be feel terrible. So he said that if you learn to work young, it's gonna be way better than when you need to learn, because You're an adult lazy con. And when you need to learn to work when you're adult, you're basically fucked. Not in all cases, but it's gonna be a massive help if you know how to work and become an active guy. And don't be rushy, don't rush everywhere, don't be relaxed sometimes. That's one of his biggest weapon when he lived in this earth. Because after he get his first heart attack, he get another, and he lived after that more than 20 years. It's ridiculous. It's fucking good. And he just changed that. He don't rush everywhere. It's basic because he can't rush at that point, but he don't rush, and I actually learned that from him. Another life lesson that I learned from him is it's your fault. It's your fault if you smoke cigarette and you die because of this. It's your fault. When you can practice this, your life is on your hand. You can change it if you want, but you can also fuck up your own life. If you can learn that, you're gonna be in so much better situation. Because at that point you can't say that, oh, he's the one who fucked up my life, or he's the one, or she's the one who fucked up. It's always me. I am the troublemaker. I am who fucked up. That's my problem. That's not his fault or her fault, it's my fault. And that's the truth. And I learned from him at a very young age. He always did something, he always worked on something. And he said, if I don't do that, nobody will do this. And if I don't do that, it's my fault. What he did is a remarkable work. I can do at the same level as he did. It's simple things like cleaning up the garden. It's as simple, but he feels that it's his fault if he didn't do that. It doesn't matter if nobody do that. If he doesn't do that, it's his fault. And he was able to go out every single day and work to morning to evening every day. He felt like if it's not in order, it's his fault. And this is the type of mentality that I think I achieved. That if it's something wrong, it's basically my fault. It's as simple as that. Because everybody can say that the other person is wrong and they fucked up and I fucked up because of that. It's bullshit. It's shit talking. That's why the average people is a nobody. Because this type of bullshit is fuck up his health. And if you achieve that mentality, you become wiser in your teens and 20s, and all of your life become way wiser than the other generations. And you think 10 years ahead of the game. I'm 17 right now. I'm young as fuck. And I know some of the concept of the work, that how the world is work. I learned a lot of that actually happened years ahead. What I'm gonna make at 10 years time, and what I'm gonna build. And use the progression bias and all these things. I can be in way better position than all of my competitors. You know why? Because a very small percentage of people think 10 years ahead. It's very small. It's a simple thing to think years ahead, but nobody does it. Like literally getting in shape and stay in shape all of your life and make more money. It's too simple concept that everybody forgets. Everybody tries to make more money. They make more, they lose the shape, and that's just one thing. If you just think 10 years ahead that I want that business idea, I can imagine all these things what can happen in this business. But you know what? That business actually not gonna work because this and this in 10 years time maybe can fuck up my business. If you think like that, or if you think like, oh, I had this and this right now, I can level up this, I can level up my reading skills, my body, my flexibility, my ability to fight or things like that. If you think constantly ahead in the game, you're gonna be much more dangerous. Like Warren Buffett, I think he said that men who thinks in decades are dangerous. Like, because think about it, so many people just think day to day or month to month, like, oh, I have this money at the end of the month and the next month there's gonna be something, and there's no plan in that. It's no calculation. If you're calculating relentlessly and think ahead of the game, you're gonna get way better results. Like when I started to go to the gym, I think that if I start tomorrow, that was nearly 2 years ago, it's 1.1 year, 8 months or nearly that. I was like, if I'm start the gym at 15, by the age of 50, I'm gonna be at a ridiculous shape. Like, I'm not gonna be like an average guy on the street with a fat beer belly and a water buffalo face. No. I'm gonna look like a god compared to those guys. It's simple as that. And it's not a 10-year plan. It's a 30, 40-year plan, you know. It's ridiculous how far you can think and just use the basic fundamentals and put yourself in a better position in life. It's that easy. And the last thing, never regret what you have done. Just learn from it. Actually, this is one of the greatest advice that I can give to you and what I'm learned. Because regretting what you have done is meaningless. It's meaningless. It's no point of it. Regret is a good tool, but it's pointless. But if you learn from it, for example, if you procrastinated in something and you feel the regret, but you procrastinate again, it's no point. But if you learn from it that maybe if I'm not go to the gym tomorrow or today, if I skip days, I'm gonna look like shit again. Like, as simple as that. And you learn from your mistakes. You're gonna be an invincible man. Everybody's make mistakes. A very little percentage of people actually learn from it. That's an immense power to learn from your own mistakes. Andrew Tate said, he's the one of the greatest speaker out of all time. I can say that because how he was able to manage his internet life is unbelievable. He's the most searched man on the planet Earth. You know why? Because he said that when he give the podcast and he talk in a podcast or an interview or talk in public and it was a video about him, he listened so many times at that conversation where he fucked up, when he fucked up, how fight in the same in fighting, when he learned how to kick and strike, use different kind of body mechanics. He learned from his mistakes. He watched every single footage of his fighting career. As simple as that. But so many people forget. And that's why you need to be an old wise man in your early days. Because it's gonna give you a much easier life